All right. Good day, everyone. So I've been wanting to really bring more of the Course in Miracles to my channel because it's made that much of an impact on me and as of late in my life. So I wanted to bring, I'm going to test this out. I'm going to read the entire lesson. I have some things highlighted and I'm just going to go with what comes up. So this is lesson 121 out of the Course in Miracles. I'm actually a little bit further ahead than this in real time. Like I'm on lesson 130 and I want to bring more and more of these lessons at least once a week, or I don't really know. It doesn't matter. Everything will work itself out perfectly. So I'm just going to read this and do my best to read and stay engaged. And maybe if something comes up that I feel is really powerful or whatever, I'll state it. But then I have some things highlighted that I want to go over and see what comes up from that. I want to see how long this takes and how long the video would be for people. So I'm just testing this new format. This new format out. Jeez. Excuse me. So lesson 121 out of the Course in Miracles. And again, this is the Course in Miracles book. You can get it straight off their website. You can get it through other places if you like, but I think it really helps them if you get it through their website. I think you can get it through Amazon if you want. Totally up to you. So lesson 121 out of the Course in Miracles. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. And this one was powerful for me. So a lot of them are, some more than others. So let's get into it. Here is the answer to your search for peace. Here's the key to meaning in a world that seems to make no sense. That's really been key for me. Like this world is starting to, as I was going along here, just really not making sense to me. Really, a lot of things not adding up and whatever. And that's what brought me to this course, and the people the person and peoples that brought that to me and such. It all is divine. Here is the way to safety and apparent dangers that appear to threaten you at every turn and bring uncertainty to all your hopes of ever finding quietness and peace. Here are all the questions answered. Here, the end of all uncertainty ensured at last. The unforgiving mind is full of fear and offers love no room to be itself. No place where it can spread its wings in peace and soar above the turmoil of the world. I love how it talks about how the world that we see, as you go further into lessons, it'll talk about the world that we see isn't necessarily the world that's real. And you can rise above, like they just stated here, you can rise above, spread your wings in peace and soar above the turmoil of the world. I mean, just how, like the way they just write this stuff. The unforgiving mind is sad without the hope of respite and release from pain. That's a big one. I didn't even highlight that one. That's a big one for me. Dealing with a lot of physical pain in my body and things coming up right now. And I'm going to make a separate video about that. It suffers and abides in misery, peering about in darkness, seeing not, yet certain of the danger lurking there. The unforgiving mind is torn with doubt, confused about itself and all it sees, afraid and angry, weak and blustering, afraid to go ahead, afraid to stay, afraid to waken or go to sleep, afraid of every sound, yet more afraid of stillness, terrified of darkness, yet more terrified at the approach of light. I have that one highlighted. That one hit me a lot. What a way to live, right? So you have this unforgiving part of you. You have this forgiving part of you. You're all like, it's all mixed up. It's chaotic. It's whatever. This course and every other experience in your life is going to help you. It's going to help you get to a more into the forgiving side of things, more off the fence. I've talked about that in a previous video, more into this place of certainty and I am enough and anything, I can forgive because when I forgive myself. I forgive. We're all connected. We're all interconnected in this. We may think we're separate. The ego keeps us separate and that's necessary. But it's not necessary in spirit or in consciousness or in interconnectedness that exists here. So moving on. So that was a powerful statement in there. What can the unforgiving mind perceive but its damnation? What can it behold except the proof that all its sins are real? The unforgiving mind sees no mistakes, but only sins. I know I've been there. It's one of those things that I talk about often, actually, where it's like, to me, that what that means, just quickly, what comes up for me is, it's like looking at what's missing. It's looking at the kind of the negative or the dark aspects all the time, pulling those all the time, pulling that stuff out of everything. Like I'm dealing with this in my own life. I'm dealing with this with my son. I'm dealing with this. It comes at me. Everything comes up the way that it's supposed to come up. Like I'm having my kids just bring all this stuff up in their own lives to me. Again, I'm processing it out in my life and I'm helping them. We're doing it together, that I would always be looking at what was sinful about the situation, not what was like perfect or divine or saying, what's an example? I gave a couple examples in previous videos, actually, of things like with my son. There was a video I did about my son and a pizza and a toaster oven and pizza and how he looked in and wanted the pepperonis. And I said, well, how about we just look and say, thanks for the cheese pizza, Dad? Like, let's look at the situation and be grateful for what is and what instead of what's not. So it looks upon the world with sightless eyes and shrieks as it beholds its own projections rising to attack its miserable parody of life. It wants to live, yet wishes it were dead. I've been there. I want to live. And I was just talking to a friend about this. I've been in this, and I've shared it in videos where I was in this really dark place, didn't even want to be here, didn't want to live anymore. And you know what? Another thing that was reflected back to me is that the people that go there, there's a quote, there's a saying. There's a saying that says, how is it? It has to do with spirituality and religion. And it says, spirituality, how is it? Religion is for people that are afraid to go to hell. Spirituality is for the people that have been there, have already been there. It's something along those lines. Because spirituality encompasses it all, right? There is no divisions. There is no religion. We don't need to divide anything, right? This is a big value of mine, a thing that I believe in very wholeheartedly. There was something else I was going to share on. That's okay. So we'll move on. Let me find where I was here. Like I said, I'm really just doing this for the first time. So we'll figure out better ways to do this. Maybe I can have set things up differently. Oh, it wishes it wants to live, yet wishes it were dead. I was talking about how I didn't want to be here anymore. I've contemplated leaving here, committing suicide. I've contemplated all that because of the pain and suffering and the confusion. It was mainly confusion, right? I needed things to be brought into my life that shedded knowledge and helped me find what was true for me. And this course is one of them. So where was I here? Let's go. Let's find it real quick here. It goes on to say, it wants forgiveness, yet it sees no hope. It wants escape, yet can conceive of none because it sees the sinful everywhere. You talk about someone or you see someone and your mind goes like this for me. And I think this is the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to admit and nobody wants to humble themselves enough to say, this is me. When I see somebody, instead of seeing their good qualities or whatever, I'm thinking of the not so great things, the sinful things, the things that I have in myself, and that's why I project it out onto other people. The unforgiving mind is in despair, without the prospect of a future which can offer anything but more despair. Yet it regards its judgment of the world as irreversible, and does not see it has condemned itself to this despair. It thinks it cannot change, for what it sees bears witness that its judgment is correct. It does not ask because it thinks it knows everything. It does not question, certain it is right. So I talk about things all the time. I talk about how I've opened up, how I'm just way more open. I'm way more receptive. I'm less restrictive. I'm less, and this has been, the Course in Miracles has just been a recent addition to my life. This has been a journey. This has been a decade-long journey at this point for me. And I'm looking to break all the patterns, break all the familial, the generational stuff, the disease of I was just talking about this with someone. To break all the patterns, what doesn't make us healthy and wealthy, right? Because wealth isn't necessarily just money. This is a total package, you know? So to break all that familial, generational thinking and the habits that bring the disease and the habits that bring the smallness and the averageness and the watered down version of us, right? So I'm here to break that, right? And listen to me. I was just talking about this with someone, and I still in my life want to water myself down. This making of this video is actually me taking action in a direction of less smallness, like less, less of me playing into fear instead of love and God and creation and what I'm here to do. Oh, where was I now? Yeah, right? Okay. Forgiveness is acquired. It is not inherent in the mind, which cannot sin. As sin is an idea you taught yourself. Meaning, I guess I would take from that means I'm teaching this to myself. God didn't teach me this. Creation, whatever created me didn't teach me this. Forgiveness must be learned by you as well, but from a teacher other than yourself, who represents the other self in you. And this is a good thing I want to point out here, is when it said, other than yourself, it's in small letters. And then who is in capital letters represents the other self, capital S, meaning your higher self, God, in you. Through him, you learn how to forgive the self you think you made. I made a video about this, how we come into this world and we make this version of ourselves. We come in and the ego takes over and we start to try to navigate this world, and we have to, and plus we're also seeing it. We're downloading it from our parents and because their parents did the same thing to them. Nobody's breaking that pattern, right? That's what I'm talking about. I feel that's my job here. That's my mission. My mission here is to break these patterns. So it talked about forgive the self you think you made and let it disappear. Thus you return your mind as one to him, capital H, who is yourself, capital S, and who, capital W, can never sin. Each unforgiving mind presents you with an opportunity to teach your own how to forgive itself. Each one awaits release from hell through you. This can be heaven or hell. And I've been saying, I said it in one video before, and I always talk about unconditional love, and I talk about how we're the miracle, and I would say, I want to bring heaven on earth. I want to bring heaven on earth. It's already here. See, this is the thing. This is the amazing thing. From that video, which was just a few weeks ago, I've already grown to the point where I'm like, it's already here. I've seen memes. Maybe I'll plug it in here. I don't know. Sometimes I make promises in these videos and then I don't end up, I don't do the, whatever. I want to try to plug stuff like that in because it helps to back up what I'm saying, not only, but it's fun. The memes are fun and whatever. So, yeah, the hell, like this, we can have heaven on earth anytime we want. Anytime we want. Anytime humanity wants to completely wake up, at least, I don't know, what's the number? 70% of the population wakes up to what's really real. And that's a journey in itself through so many different things. Each one awaits his release from hell through you and turns to you imploring for heaven here and now. It has no hope, but you become its hope. Become its hope. I want to be a piece of that. I want to be a piece of that hope for you, right? And I want you to become a piece of hope for the next person. Because I'm going to tell you a little something. If there wouldn't have been people before me that said, I'm not going to be a watered down version of myself. I'm not going to be average. I'm not going to stay there. I'm not going to stay in fear. I'm not going to do these things. I wouldn't have had them, right? I wouldn't have had them to learn from. So I have to honor not only myself, God, the creator, the universe, whatever you consider that. I have to honor that. I have to honor myself, and I have to honor the people that came before me, the giants that came before me, that I'm standing on their shoulders and we're keeping this thing going. And as its hope, do you become your own? I mean, boom, I'm like stopping and I should just keep reading. It tells you. The unforgiving mind must learn through your forgiveness that it has been saved from hell. And as you teach salvation, you will learn. I think this is unbelievable how this is all. I did not plan any of this. I knew this lesson was something that was powerful for me. And I wanted to bring it to the channel. And I just, like I said, I'm 10 lessons up. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. And how it's talking about the very thing that I'm doing right now. And as you teach salvation, you will learn. As I learn and I do, or as I go through and go through these lessons and say, hey, this is what I'm taking from this. I want to share this. As I do this, I'll learn as well. So much. It's such a gift. A gift I have been blocking out. My ego, part of me, was blocking out. The hell version of me was blocking out. Yet all your teaching and all your learning will be not of you, but of the teacher who has given you to show the way to you. A little confusing kind of wording there, but today we practice learning to forgive. If you're willing, you can learn. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to try to patch these two together because I had the timer. I was making some tea and I didn't realize that the timer was going to go off in the middle of my video. I probably should have just kept going, just went and said, give me a minute and came back. But I stopped the video. I'm going to try to patch them together. So, where was I? Today we'll practice learning to forgive. If you're willing, you can learn today to take the key to happiness. If you're willing, right? This is a big deal. So many people, if they come across this, will watch this and they're like, yeah, that sounds so great. I did this so many times throughout my journey. That sounds so good. Maybe just not quite. And you know what? Maybe there's just a place where it is what it is, and people just won't be ready to receive it yet. I've been there, and I'm still there in many other aspects of what's going to happen for me in my life. So, and use it on your own behalf. We will devote 10 minutes in the morning and at night, another 10, to learning how to give forgiveness and receive forgiveness too. The unforgiving mind does not believe that giving and receiving are the same. This is a big one that I've really developed a lot through this course. It's the same thing. You're just given to another human is just another version of you. It's just another piece of God, another point of consciousness, another point of awareness that is you. When you give to you. It doesn't maybe seem like that. You're given to Joe or John or Jim or Mary or whatever. I mean, but it's you, and you receive it as well. Yeah. Yet we will try to learn today that they are one through practicing forgiveness toward one whom you think of as an enemy and one whom you consider as a friend. And as you learn to see them both as one, we will extend the lesson to yourself and see that their escape includes yours. I just pause there for a minute. Begin the longer practice periods by thinking of someone you don't like, who seems to irritate you or to cause regret in you if you should meet him, one you actively despise or merely try to overlook. It does not matter what the form your anger takes, you probably have chosen him already. He will do. Now close your eyes and see him in your mind and look at him a while. Try to perceive some light in him somewhere. Everybody has a little light. A little gleam, which you had never noticed. Try to find some little spark of brightness shining through the ugly picture that you hold of him. Him, her, whatever. I think this is written, it uses a lot of reference to males, but obviously it's everyone. So let me find where I was. I'm sorry. I'm losing my place here. I need to figure out how I can do a better job there, and I will. Look at this picture till you see a light somewhere within it, and then try to let this light extend until it covers him. and makes the picture beautiful and good. Look at this changed perception for a while and turn your mind to one you call a friend. Try to transfer the light you learned to see around your former enemy to him. Perceive him now as more than friend to you, for in that light his holiness shows you your Savior, saved and saving, healed and whole. Then let him offer you the light you see in him, and let your enemy and friend unite in blessing with you what you gave. Now are you one with them, and they with you. Now have you been forgiven by yourself. Do not forget throughout the day the role forgiveness plays in bringing happiness to every unforgiving mind, with yours among them. Every hour tell yourself, forgiveness is the key to happiness. I will awaken from the dream that I am mortal, fallible, and full of sin, and I know I am the perfect Son of God. So one of the final things I want to say, that's the end of the lesson. And one thing that I picked up from this, like just reconfirmed and just kind of just here you go. Here's a little bit. Here's more knowledge. Here's more truth for you. Is that when you are in service to others, when you give, when you forgive, when you do any of these things, you're doing them for you. The world becomes a better place because you're getting it back. You're forgiving yourself. You're giving to yourself. You're whatever. So the most selfish of the selfish people, because I've been there in my life, the most egotistical, whatever, if they would follow this, the information it's given here, this knowledge, this just straight up, just miracle of a course of miracles, they would realize that they're giving to themselves. So I think that's it. I'm going to patch these two videos together since I had to stop it, which you probably maybe not even notice if I do a good job. But anyway, I want to do more of this. I actually would love to do this way more, actually. Just really make this channel dedicated to this course right now, really, is a thought of mine. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm always coming from a place of unconditional love. We are the miracle. We just have to wake up and realize it. Heaven on earth is here. It's waiting for us. So I'm out of here. I love you. Till next time.